What was on the front changed the world forever. And today, 250 years ago, was the first day the men responsible for those treasured words began drafting one of the most famous documents in history. So here to help us mark the anniversary is Chief Content and Learning Officer for the National Constitution Center, Julie Silverbrook. Julie, so good to see you. Thanks for your time. So tell us more about the committee formed on this day all the way back in 1776, and if at the time its members grasped the significance of what they were doing.
So we have to go back a couple of days before June 11th of 1776. On June 7th of 1776, Richard Henry Lee of Virginia introduces a resolution for independence that says that these colonies are and of right ought to be independent states. At the time, the members of the Congress were, many of them, awaiting instruction from their colonial assemblies as to whether or not they could actually vote in favor of independence. And so while they were waiting for those instructions, they moved with all deliberate speed to start writing the document that would explain the decision to vote for independence. And that's the Declaration of Independence. The resolution to set up the committee to draft is approved on June 10th. June 11th, as you noted, the committee assembles for the first time. They name the members. They are Thomas Jefferson of Virginia, who, of course, we know as the one who drafted this, Benjamin Franklin of Pennsylvania, John Adams of Massachusetts, Roger Sherman of Connecticut, and Robert Livingston of New York. They're selected for both political and regional reasons, and also because of their writing ability and the ideas that they've communicated relative to the cause for independence. Jefferson, who had already established a reputation for being a really gifted writer, he gets chosen as the primary drafter. I think John Adams, who was quite ambitious and also a very important thinker at the time, almost certainly would have wanted it, but he knows that it would have been better accepted by Jefferson, who actually receives the most support from the Congress to go ahead and write the Declaration of Independence. I think it's significant for people to remember that as this committee is writing the Declaration of Independence, they're also engaged in a lot of other activity. Congress is managing a war, active hostilities. It's planning foreign alliances, which are going to be essential for the execution of the war and also in the establishing of a new nation. They're also developing a framework for national government at the same time that the drafting of the Declaration happens, and then ultimately it's debated. There's some editing that happens in Congress, and then it's signed. At the same time, they're actually writing our first national constitution, the Articles of Confederation. I think it's really important to remember that this was written collaboratively by that committee. And ultimately what happens is that that June 7th resolution is approved on July 2nd. That's the day John Adams thought that we would celebrate Independence Day. The Declaration of Independence is adopted on July 4th. And interestingly, many people don't know this, it was actually signed a month later on August 2nd.
Yeah, I did not know that. Jefferson wrote the preamble, which contains the entire theory of American government in a single passage. But as I was researching this, that was largely an afterthought. Tell us more about that.
So really what they were trying to do was describe the reason to the world as to why they were declaring independence. And that reason is actually the articulation of those grievances. The part of the Declaration that many of us just kind of gloss over was in fact the most important part at that time. It was really a group of abolitionists who really started to claim the equality language in the preamble and started to bring forward that language as a national creed, as a national aspiration. We're always seeking to become more equal, more free, more perfect. You see that language echoed in the United States Constitution, which is, of course, drafted several years later in 1787.
All right, Julie Silverbrook from the National Constitution Center. Really appreciate that. Thank you.
My pleasure.